Okay, so if you're a law student, I'm willing to bet you've been told 100 times that mock trials are a must-do. You know, that it's this essential law school experience. But what does that even mean? What are they really, and how in the world you get started? Don't worry, we're going to dive in and break it all down, step by step.
Yeah, you've probably heard this exact phrase from professors, from seniors, you name it. And sure, it sounds impressive, but for a first-timer, let's be honest, it can also sound pretty intimidating. What does shaping your courtroom skills actually look like in practice? These are the exact questions we're here to answer. It's time to get past all that vague advice and into the practical, nitty-gritty details. So, let's get into it. All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the basics, then talk about why this is all so important. After that, we'll walk through a 5-step process, see how it boosts your career, and then finish up with the most important thing to remember for your very first case. So, first things first. Let's get a really solid grip on what a mock trial actually is. You know, the best way to think about it, it's like a flight simulator, but for a courtroom. In a nutshell, that's all it is. It's a safe space, a controlled environment where you can practice being a lawyer. It's basically a full dress rehearsal of a court case, from the opening statements all the way to the final judgment, but without any of the real-world consequences. And make no mistake, a mock trial is a total team sport. It is not a solo performance. Students get to play every single part. The judge, the lawyers, even the witnesses on the stand. This gives you this incredible 360-degree view of how a real courtroom actually works. And this right here, this is maybe the most critical point to understand from the get-go. The goal isn't just to win the case for your side. The real victory is in the learning, understanding procedure, sharpening your arguments, and just getting the practice in. Think of it like a lab for legal skills. Okay, so we know what it is, but why is it so important? Why is this simulation such a huge deal for your legal education? Well, let's look at how it bridges that massive gap between what you read in a textbook and what happens in the real world. The benefits are just so tangible. This is where the law stops being just words on a page and becomes this living, breathing thing. You're not just reading about oral advocacy, you're actually doing it. You're not just studying court etiquette, you're living it. And all this experience directly sets you up for the high-stakes world of moot court and, of course, your first internship. Look, here's the bottom line. If you take just one thing away from this section, let it be this. Mock trials are where you truly start to think and to act like a lawyer. It's where you learn how to apply all that knowledge under pressure and really start thinking on your feet. And now for the really fun part, the practical guide. How does one of these things actually work from start to finish? We're going to walk through a really clear 5-step process that'll take you from the very beginning all the way to the final feedback. Here it is, the entire journey at a glance. You start by picking a case. Then you assign all the players, do the crucial prep work, run the simulation, and then, this is the most important part, you learn from the outcome. First up, you need a case. Now here's a pro tip for all you beginners. Keep it simple. Seriously. Don't try to jump into some crazy complex case. A straightforward theft or a breach of contract case is perfect because it lets you focus on learning the procedure and your performance instead of getting lost in a bunch of complicated facts. Next, it's casting time. You'll split into teams for the prosecution and defense, and you'll need a judge, witnesses, and court staff. And listen, for the simulation to actually work and feel real, everyone, and I mean everyone, has to commit 100% to their role, no matter how small it might seem. Okay, this is the homework phase, but I like to call it the strategy session. A huge amount of the learning happens right here. You're not just thinking about your arguments, you're actually putting them down on paper. Drafting charges, writing out statements, planning your cross-examination, this is the stuff that forces you to really dig deep into the facts and the law. And now, it's showtime. This is when you step into that simulated courtroom and run the trial from start to finish. You put all that preparation into practice, you follow real court procedures, you address the judge correctly, and you maintain that professional vibe. This is practice in its purest form. After all the arguments are made, the judge will deliver their verdict, explaining the legal reasoning behind it. But the process doesn't stop there. Oh no. The real gold is in the feedback session that comes after, where you get to talk about what went well and pinpoint the exact areas where you can improve, from your legal arguments right down to your advocacy style. So let's connect all this practice back to the real world. You've put in the hours, you've learned the lessons, so how does doing a mock trial actually give you a real tangible edge in your legal career? The career benefits are huge. You'll be so much more prepared for your first real court appearance, believe me.
It's a standout on your resume that basically screams, I have practical skills. You'll be able to hit the ground running in your internships. And, maybe most importantly, you'll learn how to think on your feet and communicate with real clarity and confidence.
So, as we wrap all this up, what's the one thing you should really take away from this? Let's get to that final, most crucial point. This is it. This is the key piece of advice. Do not put this off. The earlier you start, the more practice you're going to get, and the more all that experience is going to build on itself over time. So jump into mock trials as soon as you can. Make mistakes, learn the lessons, and build your skills while the stakes are nice and low.
And let this be your mantra. Nobody is born a great litigator. Confidence is not something you can just get from a textbook or a lecture. It is built, piece by piece, through practice, through repetition, and through the exact kind of experience you get in a mock trial.
So the only question left is, are you ready to start building that confidence? Because the simulated courtroom, well, it's waiting for you.